Max Gilbert makes it 7-zip. Dustin, that came on 3rd and 12. Something we saw Tennessee do a lot of last week against Syracuse. In the hyper arrow. And now we will see ETSU's tempo offense. How tempo will this team go after scoring 45 points last week against Murray State? And a familiar name manning the controls for ETSU, Cade McNamara. Yes, the young man who began his career at midweek in the backfield. Fake it to Houston. And now looking for him on a wheel route, and he was not ready for that pass.
Boy, he was wide open, and the ball just needs to be put a little bit behind and maybe take a little bit off if you're Cade McNamara. But Devontae Houston was open. He had main coverage down the field from Tennessee.
That was Joshua Josephs unblocked, which is a problem for a projected top 50 pick in this year's NFL draft. McNamara, deep shot, 3rd and 10, it's caught, middle of the field. Ephraim Floyd is just tripped up inside enemy territory. Monster gain on 3rd and 10 to extend the drive.
Jalen McMurray, the star, the cornerback's going to be matched up right down the seam, and that's just a great ball. A well-thrown football by McNamara on the outside to Floyd, and you know that's a
formation offense. Number 8 made a lot. You might have a shoulder short now.
Yeah.
3rd and 15. On the draw, and Houston is taken down in the backfield. Bryson Eason at the point of attack, in Tennessee will force a punt for ETS. Turn man back deep, Boo Carter. And a flag comes in. Carter with all day to track this football. And we'll see what the flag is down by the original line of scrimmage. Years, 4 straight seasons with 2,500 yards rushing. Here's Peyton Lewis as part of a deep running back room. Lewis, Thomas, who we've not seen yet, and Bishop. They feel like they are SEC ready, Dustin, at that position. Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, he'll be making his debut for the Brownies this weekend.
Aguilar, play action wide open over the middle, is caught by Miles Kitzelman. And another stick-moving drive here for Tennessee. Lewis. Oh, Dustin, if you're ETSU, great field position for Tennessee on both starting drives, and they have not been stopped yet.
No, they just keep moving the chains. It seems coverage in the back end by the Buccaneers.
Aguilar, end zone shot, in and out of the hands of his intended wide receiver, Braylon Staley.
Boy,
3rd and 6.
That football was there. You know, I think Staley may have been feeling a little heat coming from the safety.
And Lewis is wrapped up. Big time defensive play by Javon Oggs, the JUCO transfer, starting at the nickel position.
Now this is
hold is good. Gilbert puts it right down the middle. He's 2 for 2 on field goal attempts this season, and a 10-0 lead for Tennessee, but perhaps a win for the yard line, hoping for a return. And he will not. Cade McNamara coming out for his 2nd series, and Dustin, you talked about it.
Really for any quarterback lately at Iowa, frankly.
Flag is down in the backfield. Houston was swarmed by a plethora of orange jerseys. We'll see what the call is here,
especially this early in the ball game.
McNamara with time, checks it down to Houston. And a nice open field tackle by Arion Carter, the leading tackler from last year's top 10 Vols defense.
Boy, match him up on the outside. This guy's just such an athlete.
McNamara looking that way, and a back shoulder catch is negated on an excellent defensive play by the Colorado transfer Colton Hood.
Well, Colton Hood continues to impress this Tennessee staff and impresses me as well. I mean, this guy's had to step into the starting role in week 1 against Syracuse, and that's nearly a fantastic catch on the outside by Page, but Colton Hood.
Play clock winding down here, and they are not going to get the kick away.
First time was 3rd and 12. The second time they hold to the field goal, and then the penalty obviously negates a long throw and catch.
Luke Carter off the hop, cutting it back upfield. Carter with room. Carter shaking free. Oh, and he's tripped up. Aguilar, long throw to Brazel. And a pickup of 7 or 8 on first down. This is just such a smooth operation here for the Vols.
Everything they do is just running effortlessly, right there on the outside. An easy throw and catch to Brazel. And Joey Aguilar has been in the system for a short period of time, making things look easy.
We'll start Thomas. Duke transfer, cuts it upfield inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal, Tennessee.
Well, you said it, Matt. They've got a plethora of riches at their running back position, and then here you see Star Thomas. This guy led Duke a season ago, and now is basically the second running back for the Volunteers.
Second and goal for Joey Aguilar. For this Tennessee offense, and particularly the ground game, we've seen all 3 primary running backs get significant touches, and it's 17-zip Vols against Syracuse. I didn't hear you say. Trailing by 17 to Eichelberger. And the Division II transfer stacked up for no gain. Here's defense, which was top 10 in the country. Criswell looking for a back shoulder pass, some contact there. Ty Redmond on the coverage.
McNamara has missed just a couple of them, and now Criswell, that one was right there.
Underneath, has his man short of the sticks, Kareem Page. The lone Bucks receiver to start all 12 games last year. The offense wants to stay on the field.
Well, if you didn't have the false start, you'd have a first down. That's a 11-yard pickup right there.
How surprised are you, if at all, to see Will Healy punting here?
No, I think you have to. You can't give the ball back to the
33 yards, nearly a house call. And he is back deep to receive. And he will return it, making 1 man miss. 2, now 3, and a flag comes in, and perhaps a penalty on Tennessee.
Yeah, you're getting a flag right there. Kellen Lindstrom, 55, was the one on special teams they're going to get for the block in the back. Installed their culture, their brand, and the way they play football, it certainly is paying off.
And Aguilar has a man wide open. It's Brazel out near midfield, and a pickup of 26.
Just a simple little RPO, all day to throw. I mean, this is a little corner around the outside, pitch and catch.
Underneath, this one stacked up on the pass to Ethan Davis. It's interesting. You talk about Aguilar having all day to throw. He certainly has had that. He had it last week against a very good Syracuse defense. No sacks, despite this offensive line replacing 4 starters from a year ago.
Yeah, I asked Coach Heupel about that yesterday, and he said they just really like the young guys they have. Another completion on the outside to Brazel. I mean, Matt, they haven't even got David Sanders Jr. in the lineup yet.
He is out again today, that right tackle. So not only replacing 4 starters, but mixing guys around due to injury.
Wendell Moe is moving to right guard for this game.
Aguilar had a wide open Deshaun Bishop on the near sideline. Brings up 2nd and 10. Here's 4. Made by 17 with 4.5 left in the first quarter. Pressure. Aguilar picks it up and dumps it down to Kitzelman. So David Sanders moving Jesse Perry from right guard over to right tackle and mixing in Wendell Moe, as you talked about. He's in and out of the hands of Kitzelman. Jackson Ross on to punt it away. Xavier Gairditz lets it get down inside the 5. Stephanie Otis
kind of stood out to me is these guys, going to play some college football at a lower level, and they know they've got to compete with another guy that played P4. So, hey, kudos to them. Kudos to ETSU for getting both of them. And as Stephanie pointed out too, I mean, they were transparent about the conversation, between both the players. Take a look at Jacoby Criswell there on the outside. Shows off a little bit of his athleticism.
2nd and 4. Houston cannot get away from this Tennessee defense.
Buku's defense, if they can get a first down, because they need a rest. They've been on the field the whole day.
Criswell under pressure is taken down. It is not a safety. Joshua Josephs with his heels on the edge of the end zone. And a pre-snap whistle.
Delay of game, offense, half the distance.
24-0 Tennessee. And credit to their defense, too, Dustin, for giving Tennessee's offense such great starting field position on all 4 of their scoring drives.
Well, and also credit to the special teams, Matt, because Boo Carter and company on that punt return unit have done a tremendous job setting up their offense as well. You can take a look at the points here in this first quarter as opposed to last was things that factor in.
Volleyball on the SEC Network, and the McNamara quarterback. He is back in to start this drive. Flushed. McNamara buying time and makes it a positive play.
Just so much speed on that defensive front. And when you think about it, this is a Tennessee defensive.
Weathersby, Jackson Moy all out today for Tennessee. That is a completed pass to the tight end Cole Keller. 3rd and manageable for ETSU.
And ETSU in this first quarter, this is their 5th possession, Matt. They have 7 total yards.
McNamara has Kareem Page for a first down. No, they're going to say incomplete pass. And boy, how physical has this Vols secondary been. That was the true freshman Ty Redmond ripping it free.
Yeah, Redmond has done a nice job early in this game. Got some reps last week as well. Had a couple of pass breakups in that game against the Orange. And right here, I mean, this, I don't know, man, it was close. That slowed down there with slow motion, but in real time.
Holding ETSU to just 7 first quarter yards. 5th punt of the game for ETSU. And it is the freshman DeJuan Morris receiving it inside his own 35. Star Thomas back into the game at tailback. Fake it to him and dump it down to Mike Matthews with room to run. Well, they're glad he came back, Dustin. Flirted with the transfer portal and returned this year.
Yeah, really wasn't sure after last season what he was going to do, and gosh, he certainly should be happy he's back. He's going to play a huge role for this offense this year.
Gang tackling effort led by Trevor Moffitt at the Sam linebacker position. Loss of maybe half a yard on that play. 2nd and 10. Aguilar hits Matthews again for another first down. Ironically, it was Nico Iamaleava who played a part in Matthews returning this year. Of course, Iamaleava went to UCLA, which allowed Aguilar to come to Tennessee. That is the new era of college football.
Yeah, that whole situation is wild to me. You know, we kind of got into it a little bit with Coach and he explained some of the situation, but man, it's a different era we're living in, partner.
Now Josh, Tennessee team on 2nd and 10. It goes to Thomas with a hole. Thomas inside the 10. And another first down for this Tennessee Vols offense.
Yeah, Star Thomas shows off this burst. This is, you know, a little power off to the right side, and you know, really not even touched by the Buccaneers until he's about 9 yards down the field.
Aguilar, end zone. And in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Braylon Staley, who wanted the flag. Jason DeClone of the Liberty transfer making the coverage at free safety.
It's the second nice play that DeClone has made in this early portion of the ball game. You said it, Matt, the transfer from Liberty and a little time at UCF as well. Just, I think they may have got a little bit of a hook with the right arm, but they didn't call it.
2nd down carry. Thomas sifting inside the 5 and was pushed back. They do give him forward progress. And it brings up 3rd and goal. Well, credit to this ETSU defense, though the score may not detail it. They have had some stout defensive plays. Nearly got off the field on the opening drive of the game. Had a 3rd and 12. Resulted in a touchdown pass to the back of the end zone by Aguilar.
When you think about your offense, if you're ETSU, they've only had 1 first down, so your defense has been out there all day.
Speaking of all day, Aguilar had it to throw, and a late flag comes in on the incomplete pass. Star Thomas pushed back by Chris Davis Jr. The Georgia State transfer. Trevor Moffitt was in there as well.
Just keep fighting.
Star Thomas past tacklers for his 2nd touchdown of the game.
But you can only fight.
A lot of PAT opportunities this afternoon for Max Gilbert, who was one of the highest scoring kickers in the country last year. Ranked 4th in the SEC, was perfect last year. 54 box with you. East Tennessee State still looking for its first big win for the Bucs. You're a big baseball guy.
That's what they say about me.
That's a completed catch and a first down grab by Ephraim Floyd.
Hey, Matt, I want to correct myself because I go on their 6th possession. Finally having first down.
McNamara takes a shot, and it's broken up. Colton Hood, Dustin, has stepped in and been fantastic at the cornerback.
Back in 2006. I'll take you back in the time machine.
McNamara on play action, flushed out. Will use his legs and shakes loose of a tackle by Hood. 3rd down up. Pressure comes. McNamara zips it out. It's caught, but short of the sticks. And Will Healy is going to leave his offense on the field for this 4th down.
Take a delay or something because the offense was out there for a long time. But here you go, 4th and 3. Can they keep the drive alive?
Shuffle inside, and it is not enough for a first down. Edwin Spillman makes the stop for Tennessee.
Boy, it's just such a tough call on the 4th and 3 because you're just relying upon, the defensive linemen that are so stout to not be disciplined, and you just run the shovel pass. Man, it takes time to develop. I don't know. It's a tough call on 4th and 3.
Against a Tennessee defense that swarmed last week. 10 pass breakups, 2 turnovers, handful of sacks. That has continued into week 2. And again, the Vols offense will start a drive in plus territory with Deshaun Bishop in the tailback. Fake it to Bishop. And Aguilar has a first down grab to Braylon Staley. Perhaps not going to move the chains. 2nd and short. Here's Bishop. Sticks his foot in the ground. Bishop with some physicality past the 20. And Tennessee into the red zone again. Gain of 18 for the former walk-on put on scholarship this year. Here's Matthews. And he is tackled promptly by Mike Jenkins. Starting free safety for ETSU. First year as a primary starter for Jenkins. Zipped out to Matthews, and he is met immediately by Jimmy Bowdry.
It's a nice tackle there by Bowdry on the outside. And they again have Tennessee in 3rd and long in the red zone. Let's find out if Tennessee can continue to keep their streak alive of whether it be converting a 3rd and long in the red zone, or do they get bailed out with a penalty.
Tennessee scored a touchdown in the red zone on 3rd and 12 on their opening drive of the game. 3rd and 11 here. Five-man rush. Aguilar flushed. And the first time today we've seen Aguilar on his backside. The quarterback pressure by Isaiah Potts will force 4th down.
Well, that's a nice stop by the Buccaneers, and it pays off considering you go for it on 4th and 3, you don't get it, they've got a short field. The defense is forced to go back out there again, and I think that sort of speaks to a little bit of resilience by the Buccaneers.
Max Gilbert has already hit from 29, this from 37. And he is right through the uprights. 3 for 3 this season on field goal attempts. Gilbert makes it 34-zip Vols. And Josh Turbeville does not need a full run up for this one. Puts it on the ground, forcing a return out of ETSU.
Well, this will be the best starting field position. More penalties than first downs. That's problematic.
Jacoby Criswell back into the game at QB. Nominal gain on first down.
Well, at this point, you got to think that Tennessee would probably start to see some backups in the ball game. I know it's early, but as fast as they go, Matt, they could probably name the score.
And particularly with who's coming here next weekend.
Absolutely.
Monster.
And that's a good point.
Season showdown with Georgia.
Funny, first time we've actually brought that up is the look-ahead game is Georgia, and you always kind of worry about that game sandwiched in between a big matchup, and I don't think that Tennessee looked past this one at all.
3rd and 8. Criswell with time completes it to Kareem Page near the sticks, but short. Will Healy went for it on 4th down the last drive out, and he's going to keep his offense on the field again here. Tennessee will call timeout.
Timeout. Tennessee, first timeout of the half.
We'll see a 4th and 1 when we return from the. Jason Albritton in at the Wildcat position. Play clock down to 5. And there's going to be some pre-snap movement here. I believe a false start on ETSU.
I might be on Tennessee. I'm not so sure. Not much has been free for ETSU in this ball game.
There's that from Floyd on the reverse. Picks up maybe 2. Criswell flushed, makes one man miss and turns that into positive yardage. Makes it 3rd and medium for ETSU. Needs 6 to move the chains. Pressure comes. Criswell has to throw it away quickly. And really, for the first time in this game, we've seen defensive coordinator Tim Banks dial up the pressure.
Yeah, right there on that 3rd down, you definitely want to bring a little bit of heat. You don't want to give any sort of before halftime. As a look at Coach Banks. Man, that guy's got a lot of energy. Really enjoyed our conversation with him yesterday afternoon, Matt. He's a guy that
who connect on deep throws. We've seen that early in this game from Aguilar. Nice defensive stop there by Brian Alston. Here is Stephanie Oten.
Training at football was even for him, and he said that he wasn't training for it. The only reason he did was because his wide receiver buddies needed someone to pass to. But it was his mom and his friend.
But then the lawsuit by Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback, opened things up for guys like Joey Aguilar as he connects with Miles Kitselman, moving the chains from Antioch, California. All day to throw. And underneath to Peyton Lewis. 10-yard pickup.
And you would think that this offense would maybe slow down a little bit, being up 34-0. The standard is the standard, Josh Heupel told us yesterday, and they're not going to change anything up no matter who they play. This is what they do. They're going to try to be as balanced as possible, as there appears to be a Buccaneer down. And they'd like to get back there again this year. Tell you what, Mike Matthews is going to make Joey Aguilar look like a superstar this season, because right here, this football was thrown. I'm not sure if it was thrown to Travis Smith Jr. or if it was for Mike Matthews, because both guys were in the vicinity. But Mike Matthews' ability to go track this football, Matt, is as good as I've seen. I mean, this is unbelievable. The ball's hung up in the air forever and just goes and tracks that thing and makes it look easy at the end as he walks into the end zone.
Youngest wide receiver core that Heupel's ever had. Questions Dustin Fox about their talent and depth. They're answering those through week 1 and week 2.
Youngest wide receiving core and oldest quarterback that Heupel's had since he's been here. Maybe that's the connection, right? Bring the young guys along, and look at this. Goes up, just takes that thing away and walks into the end zone and does a little Rob Gronkowski there.
Gronk spike.
Yeah.
That's a worthy play of that one.
Absolutely. I mean, he knows he's probably going to take a shot, so he's just throwing it up. It's almost like a Hail Mary, frankly, the way that football, came out of the hand.
Tennessee has scored on 7 of its 8 possessions in this game. Aguilar now has 5 passing touchdowns this season, no interceptions.
Ball game, and I was like in just awe. I was stunned when Josh Dobbs was able to make that throw.
Well, this is the first time in 30 years that Tennessee and Georgia will meet this early in the season. Back in 1995, they met in October. It's usually a mid to late season meeting between two SEC giants. On a nice run by the Division II transfer Khalil Eichelberger. ETSU trying to get its first score of the game here with 3:30 left in the first half.
Again, they're quick to get up to the line of scrimmage and continue to run their high-paced offense, up-tempo offense. And a little substitution here by Tennessee. The last time they played it was 59-3.
2018.
Will it be similar? We're headed that way.
Criswell running, lofts it downfield away from traffic. Brings up 2nd and 10. Eichelberger, who helped Grand Valley State make the second round of the Division II playoffs last year as their leading rusher. Makes it 3rd and 6. Take it to him. Pressure. Criswell had to get rid of it as he winds up on the turf next to 2 Tennessee jerseys. 4th down at midfield, and Will Healy's going to send the punt unit out for ETSU.
Well, this pressure just continues to get home, and at this point, Cade McNamara and Criswell, both quarterbacks who have played in this ball game, you got to be thinking Will Healy. You want to make sure these guys come out of this game without an injury, so be a little careful. They got a tough conference schedule coming up in the SoCon, and they're a team that I think can compete for in that conference. Catch some of that after our broadcast down in Tulane. They look every bit as advertised. We know they're going to be really good on defense. That's what Kirby's MO is. How's Stockton going to be a quarterback? I think the true test will be next week. They're playing Austin Peay today. They moved that game up, by the way, because of the storms in Athens. And that's not good for Aguilar. They got it. ETSU got the football, Matt.
A rare mistake for Tennessee's offense in this first half. Gives it back to ETSU with 1 second left before the 2-minute timeout.
Boy, that was just an errant snap. An errant snap that's going to be recovered by Barrett. 18 for the Buccaneers. And, 1st and goal at the 5 for the Bucs.
Interesting that Tennessee even snapped that before the 2-minute timeout. And because of it, ETSU now with their best starting field position of the day. 1st and goal from the 5-yard line, and Cade McNamara back into the game at quarterback. The pitch underneath to Heron Suttereth is in for a touchdown. ETSU capitalizing on the fumble, and they score on the ensuing play.
I like that play design by the Buccaneers. Just make sure there's no flags on the field. I'm kidding.
Suttereth, the transfer from Middle Tennessee State, where he caught just 5 passes. Puts ETSU on the board. Ewan Johnson trying to make it 7 for the Bucs.
Well, a miscue by the Volunteers.
2-minute timeout.
A rare miscue by the Volunteers leads to an easy end-around touchdown run for the Buccaneers. 41-7 from Neal.
We were told many fans would be repping both colors this afternoon. We have certainly seen that in the first half. Joey Aguilar will come back out with the Tennessee offense after the fumble. Gave it up to ETSU. On Tennessee.
And he said, yeah, there's just going to be a lot of games that are going to be like decided by a field goal. Kind of toss-up games, and they'll have a chance. Two P4 former starting quarterbacks on your roster. It's got to give you some sort of a chance there in that conference. They were picked to finish 4th, by the way, in the preseason poll.
Meanwhile, Tennessee with an opportunity to operate a 2-minute drill here late in the first half. Mike Matthews has been wide open often in this game. His 6th catch. He's now out over 100 yards receiving in the first half.
I just think he's going to be a guy that, Matt, at the end of the season, most people in the SEC are going to be talking about, going forward, because he's just a dude, man. He's got a big body frame, great, ball control. I mean, he can go up and get it at its highest point. He's just a really talented wide receiver. He's got great athleticism. I like what I've seen so far.
Star Thomas churning ahead on 1st and 10. Now, Matthews last year had just 7 catches for 90 yards. He's eclipsed that in the first half of today's game. Aguilar pulling it back is brought down, but he got the football out, and it's caught by Brazel for a first down.
Boy, so close. The pressure was right there by Chris Davis Jr. Wears number 0. We'll see Aguilar. Does a leg hit the ground before? No, I don't think so.
Next play, Aguilar, first down catch. Braylon Staley. These young wide receivers for Tennessee have been able to find creases in the ETSU defense. It's made it very easy for Joey Aguilar to dice it up.
I'll tell you one thing that has impressed me so far is Aguilar being able to play in an offense that he's not used to. This pistol that he played in at App State, not quite the same as what they're doing here. They huddled a little bit more. It was a little bit slower paced, and now here it's just so much up tempo, and the offense a lot of times is predicated on rhythm. And his rhythm so far, I mean, maybe the resistance hasn't quite been there from your opponent, but man, I think this guy's got a chance to be a real special quarterback this year.
Out to Brazel again. Gang tackled. Jalen was in on the stop, as was Mike Jenkins.
Well, they have more than enough time now. I mean, 42 seconds and counting before halftime. 2nd and 6. I'd be wanting to maybe try and score with 2 seconds in the clock.
Star Thomas unstoppable in the first half at Neyland Stadium.
This is all just a push. This is like the tush push in Philadelphia, right? But instead you got a running back, and then you got 5 offensive linemen behind him. Is that a hat trick, Matt? For Star Thomas?
It is. He now has 4 rushing touchdowns in the first 2 games of his Tennessee career. They are going to review this play. Our replay official, Kevin Holmes, being called upon for the first time in this half. Shrink his big dreams. They're now playing on the biggest stage in front of a sold-out Neyland Stadium. Makes it 48-7. Vols. Tight, by the way, at one point. Tennessee was up 21. Syracuse got it to 7. So maybe more on film for Georgia going into that Week 3 matchup. Volunteers fans hoping to snap an 8-game losing streak in that series. Cade McNamara back onto the field for ETSU with 22 seconds. All 3 timeouts. Does Will Healy try anything here for the Buccaneers? Doesn't appear so. Jason Albritton, the former walk-on at Ole Miss, might have just taken us to halftime. And indeed, we will go to the half at Neyland Stadium, a 48-7 lead for the Tennessee Volunteers in the ensuing play.
Yeah, and that play was kind of odd because it was right before the 2-minute warning, and it was like they kind of forced the snap, and it was just a little errant snap, and obviously Aguilar couldn't get on the football, and that led to an easy 6 for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I just talked with Coach Healy, and he comes off saying, yeah, we need to clean this up. They can get in the right spots, but optimize it. He liked how they had the turnover and optimized. But he just said he's happy that they don't have to play this Tennessee team again. At least have some fun while they do it. He wants to see all 4 quarters from his guys.
Well, Stephanie, I believe it was Dustin who asked, is there anything that Tennessee makes you want to do differently when you watch them on the tape? And he said, I think they make you want to do everything differently when you see them on tape. That's how good and talented this Tennessee team is.
Well, they knew coming into this game how talented they were, and they are, I guess I should say. And, boy, I don't know what halftime adjustments you can make to come back from a 48-7 type of ball game, but I think you just want to try to make it respectable. And if you're ETSU, you want to see your guys compete, you know, and obviously, you want to come out of the game healthy. That's the #1 priority in a game like this.
Cade McNamara, the former Michigan and Iowa quarterback, completes the pass to Demarius Rucker. And 3rd down looming for ETSU. Pressure picked up. McNamara takes a shot as Ephraim Floyd complete at midfield. What a 1st down grab by the former leading wide receiver out of Gardner-Webb.
And it was good coverage there down the field by McMurray, but a really great job of concentration by Floyd. Floyd's the one who had the catch early in the ball game, Matt. Of course, it got called back.
22-yarder keeps the drive alive. Down the sideline again and caught by the former Tennessee Vol, Charlie Browder, at tight end.
And by the way, did you see who he was matched up man-to-man with, Matt? Down the field? Yeah, that guy's pretty good. Arion Carter down the field. Great job there on the outside by Charlie.
1st and 10. McNamara getting out of trouble and dumps it away as he was tracked down on a hard hit by Boo Carter. Coming down from the star position. Boy, he can close quickly.
Well, we saw his speed and athleticism on the punt returns, but now you see him here on just defense. Just tracking down Cade McNamara there.
Well, getting more snaps this week. Carter was limited to 27 last week against Syracuse. Getting him more involved defensively and in special teams in week 2. McNamara underneath. Pass is caught again by Floyd despite the bobble. And that makes this 3rd and short.
Well, I think it's easy to say at this point, Matt, that 4-down territory here inside Tennessee territory, approaching the red zone.
Handoff goes to Rucker, and he is taken down by Arion Carter.
Man, Arion Carter just shows such tremendous instincts. Watch him right here just shoot his gap. He's right there, shoots the B gap, comes inside. Browder doesn't even have a chance to get a hand on Arion Carter as Carter just sees ball and gets ball.
Surprised to see the field goal unit here for ETSU.
I'm actually not, because it's 4th and 6. If it were 4th and a yard or 2, you'd go for it. You want to get points. This has been by far the most productive.
Opening drive score to start the 2nd half for ETSU.
Your record label.
Bulldogs in a monumental early season SEC showdown. Fair catch by DeJuan Morris. And we will not see Joey Aguilar on this Tennessee drive. It will be the redshirt freshman Jake Merklinger, who lost a tightly contested battle with Joey Aguilar. Dustin, I think a lot of people around outside of the program didn't really think it was that competitive of a battle, but inside the program, nothing was given to Joey Aguilar.
It sort of surprised me when we dove into the program the last several weeks here to learn that it really was a legitimate competition, and that Jake is somebody they believe in and think he has a chance to be the future star quarterback here at Tennessee. Talented kid, highly competitive, big arm, athletic. Really everything you look for in a quarterback.
His first pass attempt on a play action is almost intercepted. In and out of the hands of Kensley Johnson.
Boy, dangerous throw here. This probably should have been picked. Yeah, I think easily should have been picked. Probably should have been a pick six. It's almost like he mistimed his jump, Matt.
Johnson won a NAIA national championship 2 years ago. Brings up 3rd and 5. Merklinger under pressure, using that athleticism, and has enough for a first down.
First down ball.
Well, you talked about his talent, Dustin. Better athlete than many give him credit for.
Well, yeah, that is what we learned from Joey Halsey yesterday. We talked with him. He gave us a great story, which we'll tell here momentarily. But a very good high school basketball player for his size, and probably not quite the type of high school basketball player you'd think, right, Matt?
Well,
physical.
Joey Halsey and Josh Heupel went to see him play high school basketball in his hometown of Savannah, but year to year they've started 4 different QB1s for the last 4 seasons as Baker takes the first down carry 5 yards. Merklinger rolling and dealt with some pressure by Nick Hunter, who they believe could be a all-conference type of linebacker in the Southern Conference this year at ETSU.
Yeah, 22 is of course Nick Hunter. Merklinger is lucky to get rid of the football.
Third and 4. And the pass is caught by Desan Brom at tight end, split out wide.
You think they just went to the huddle and said, let's just run this thing back?
Yes.
Because it was literally the exact same combination the next play. Just took him another play.
Second touchdown of the day for Chris Brazzell, the second. And this Tennessee wide receiver room, which had so many outside doubters before the season began, replacing their top 3 receivers from last year, has not missed a beat through the first 2 weeks of the regular season.
Well, getting a look at maybe the future here of the Volunteers at the quarterback position. Jake Merklinger. Athleticism from the quarterback position. A little scramble, a little bit of sack, and a deep throw to Brazzell, and then it's capped off. The ref said, well, we're going to make you do it again. They said, no problem.
Max Gilbert will put it through the back of the end zone as he has done all afternoon. Well, tonight after the Louisiana,
how about that?
Dominant. There is Khalil Eichelberger pushing the pile ahead for a gain of 4.5.
Hey, it's 55-10. I can get a little tennis in, can't I?
No doubt.
Okay.
Well, I was waiting for you to.
Okay.
At some point.
All right. Thanks, partner.
Who's in the men's final?
It's the same final we've seen for the last 3. Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz.
You think there's going to be a different result? More on that in a moment. 3rd and 4. McNamara completes a first down catch to Kareem Page. My question is, was the hit competitive, or did Coach Lucas take it easy on you?
Well, it wasn't. Well, Coach Lucas was actually the one kind of feeding the balls.
Okay, got it.
He brought the ringer, which is one of his current players, to hit with me.
Got it.
And, yeah, I mean, the guy was playing first dubs last year in the SEC, and he's hitting against me. So it was honestly an honor, and it was a lot of fun. And I really appreciate the hospitality here in Rocky Top.
Tyree West with the sack.
That's a big boy. Look how athletic he looks for his size.
Well, he had a great season last year as a rotational player as well. He's a senior from Tifton, Georgia. Handful of tackles for a loss last season. But you're right, this is one of the great SEC towns. And the folks in Knoxville always hospitable. And boy, do they love their Vols. All sports.
You know what's so crazy, too, is this is the first time you and I have called a game here. I was here for the spring game last year, but not quite the same. There weren't any fans because they were doing the renovations. But to be on campus and to see all this, like yesterday, for example, we're just driving around campus. I mean, the students all wear orange, like all of them. It's just pretty cool to see, you know, the buy-in of the student body and, you know, the best with everything here in Knoxville. And that's coming from a Buckeye. I'm giving you my opinion is this is as good as it gets in college football. This is great.
Tennessee dominating up 55-10. We'll be right back after this.
Pretty darn impressive 2 weeks into his tenure here at Tennessee. Going to be 2-0 and looking to obviously be 3-0 after next week. It's going to be a challenge. That's a really fun, challenging matchup as the Georgia Bulldogs will be coming to town. I believe they're still in a weather delay in Athens with Austin Peay 14-3. And you better believe everybody in this building and down there in Athens are thinking about that delay. And like Tennessee fans are probably like, oh, keep delaying it. Make them play longer. You know what I mean? Keep them on the field as long as possible because every edge could be, you know, anything could be an advantage is my point next week. At least these coaches feel that way.
First down carry, perhaps. Pyle continuing to churn ahead based on the spot. Looks like it'll be enough to move the chains for Tennessee. Certainly you would think in that game the advantage goes to Tennessee at the quarterback position. Yes, Gunnar Stockton looks like a very talented young man, but he has never taken meaningful snaps in a game like what we're going to have next weekend. 102,000 will be on hand here in Neyland. Jake Merklinger getting some snaps here in the second half. Tennessee's backup, the future at quarterback, a former ESPN 300 4-star. He started all 4 years of his high school career and went to 3 consecutive regional titles out of Savannah. DeJuan Morris, the freshman in the backfield. Deep pass from Merklinger is caught at the 15-yard line. That is Joakim Dotson on a 27-yard grab.
Dotson just wide open, top of your screen. Some sort of a bust there. I'm sure you've got some other younger players you're getting in there for ETSU as well, but man, Tennessee just taking full advantage at this point.
We saw Dotson last year. You and I did in the high school showcase at the Baylor School. Dotson moving from Nashville to the Baylor School and then ultimately choosing Tennessee among a plethora of FBS offers.
Wow, that is a good memory by you.
I knew that name sounded familiar when I saw him on the Tubi.
Baylor School. I was just watching a video that Baylor was playing, I think, Brentwood last night. And Coach Heupel was there. Peyton Manning was there.
Who's who?
It's a who's who. Absolutely.
Well, Dan Dorselaire, one of a number of freshmen that we've seen score in this game for Tennessee. And for more on the youth of the Vols, here's Stephanie.
That's been something that Coach Heupel has been preaching this season. The young guys don't have
in the wide receiver room, and yet the talent is just oozing from the guys on the outside. Flag is down on this big run by Demarius Rucker, and we'll see if it's coming back for ETSU. They're portal wide receivers this year, Dustin, though on the outside looking in, many felt like they had a need at that position. He credits their recruiting of true freshmen out of high school for the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I thought initially I was surprised that all these receivers were here and that they didn't go out. You know, most schools lose.
SoCon League. Meanwhile, Jason Albritton comes in at running back for Rucker. And the Ole Miss transfer gets the ball on a second down carry, bringing up 3rd and long. Criswell, the quarterback for ETSU, dumps it down to Albritton with blockers in front, and not nearly enough to get close to the sticks. And I believe Will Healy will send his punt unit onto the field, and indeed he will. Now Will Healy will try to quickly turn the page on today's game. They knew they had a very steep uphill battle coming here to Tennessee, a team that he feels is worthy of a top 10 ranking. Loaded with talent again this year. And on the opening drive, they had their chances. A 40-yard completion on 3rd and 12 put them near the red zone, but it was called back due to a penalty, and that, in a nutshell, has been ETSU's day on offense. And certainly a lot of credit has to be given to Tennessee's violent and physical defense. Even with the injuries, Dustin, they're going to be a problem in the SEC for many opposing offensive linemen and quarterbacks.
Oh my goodness. I mean, just think about Tennessee's defensive line right now. You're missing 3 starters for this game. Arguably your top 2 corners. You know, there's a couple, another safety, maybe another linebacker or 2 that's going to come back. Like, the depth on that defense is insane. Insane.
2 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss today, despite all of those injuries. There's Justin Baker, true freshman on the carry, and that will likely take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Leading at 62-7. Matt Schumacher, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Dustin Fox, Stephanie Ote on the sideline. And if you are just joining us, Joey Aguilar put on a singer running the offense for Tennessee on 3rd down. Zips it underneath, and it is enough to move the chains. Caught by Rodarius Jackson. Here's Stephanie.
That's right. He was actually carried entirely off into the tent. All the guys went over to check in on him, which is very telling for a team with 54 new players all checking in on him. It looks like it's going to be his left foot. He is going to be carted off. He's not going to the hospital. He's getting x-rayed. But yeah, it looked pretty rough on him.
Well, we hope for the best for Demarius Rucker, part of a loaded running back room that Will Healy's very excited about at ETSU. Merklinger off play action. Takes a shot over the middle of the field and caught again by the freshman Jackson. A gain of 16.
Well, Jackson had to go up and get that thing. I mean, the ball sort of was airmailed a little bit out of Merklinger's hands and behind the young freshman wide receiver. And you can see the size on that young man, 6'2", 210. That's a catch radius.
Well, he's a guy that did it all in high school. 3A Mr. Football, threw 7 touchdowns, had 140 tackles and 14 picks, plus
25, 30 times a game on offense. But, man, these kids, they just wear them out these days.
I think a lot of us, and especially in the football world, gained an appreciation for what is possible watching the eventual Heisman winner do it all season both ways, Dustin,
right.
Last year for Colorado.
Well, listen, I mean, some guys are just special. They're just built differently, and Travis Hunter was that dude, you know, for Colorado last year, and certainly worthy of the Heisman Trophy. And I'll be curious to see come tomorrow, you know, how he, you know, handles the NFL and how the NFL handles him, frankly.
Merklinger taking a shot to the end zone. It is overthrown, looking for the freshman Travis Smith.
Outs with Merklinger and develop some chemistry.
Nice play defensively there by Teddy Wilson, who's been all over it out of the will linebacker position. Well, you bring up a great point, Dustin. With Merklinger being the primary backup and not having taken a snap last year as a redshirt, these are valuable snaps for him if they are ever needing to call upon him during SEC play this year.
Yeah, no question. That's a false start.
They go to Baker, and he is taken down at the 35-yard line by Quay Birdsong, and now we'll see if Max Gilbert comes out to attempt a field goal, and in fact he will. Career long is 52. This would be 1 yard further.
You know, this is one of those situations where you're like, all right, it's a game situation. How many times do you have a chance in Neyland to kick a real live 52-yard kick? I'll tell you what, 3 points are going to be valuable next week.
No doubt. Georgia coming to town. The implications on the line. And already SEC teams. Criswell takes a shot over the middle of the field, hits Cole Keller. And one of the biggest gains of the day for ETSU, a first down on a 24-yard catch and run by the tight end.
That was the most impressive throw I think I've seen today out of ETSU. That was an unbelievable, had to be thrown to a spot in a small window. Well done.
Speaking of Arch Manning in Texas, you being an Ohio State guy, keeping an eye on that game last week, what did you take away from that? If you're a Texas fan and an Arch Manning fan?
I don't know. I mean, you probably could have said the same thing had Ohio State lost the game about Julian Sain for the Buckeyes. I mean, they're both young quarterbacks. They were playing a very challenging defense in the first game that they basically played. Arch played one game last year, and it was against Louisiana Monroe. And then you have to have all this offseason hype coming into the season. Look, he didn't ask for all the pressure. He didn't ask to be named Manning. Like, we put all of this pressure on the young man as the media members and as fans and what have you. I just feel like let's give the kid a little time. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be just fine. He's very talented. We saw what he did in high school. We know that he has the lineage and the genes and all that stuff, but just give the young man a little bit of time. Peyton Manning wasn't Peyton Manning overnight.
Keller again makes the catch and is stuck at the 20 after another pickup of 15 plus. And this offense for ETSU moving with efficiency really for the first time in this game with a long field. Criswell to the air and overshoots his intended target, Xavier Gaertitz. Brings up 2nd and 10. I am intrigued tonight to see Alabama back in action after the loss to Florida State. Yes, it's against ULM. Certainly a lesser opponent. They're back home at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but that's a game like if you were a Texas fan today.
Boy, Albritton looks like a throwback type of running back, man. Out there, he's got the wrist taped up, no gloves. Wildcat, just rumbling, like you said, bumbling into the end zone, carrying tacklers. That's a large young man for his stature. It's like a bowling ball.
5'9", 220. Was an exceptional high school running back. Didn't have the offers coming out of high school. Went to South Florida as a walk-on. Transferred to Ole Miss as a walk-on. And now on scholarship for the first time in his career and scores a touchdown at Neyland Stadium. Of that series next weekend, Saturday, Neyland Stadium. It'll be a sold-out crowd for the 22nd consecutive home game. And boy, you better believe this place is going to have some juice. And when you look, 8:46 to go in the game and a 65-17 lead for the Vols. And his first pass, good for a completion and perhaps a first down. After the effort by Tommy Winton III.
Interesting to see. They stay with the tempo here with the young quarterback. Want to give him a chance to feel what some live game action is like in their system. They do.
Wow. McIntyre played at an elite high school in Nashville, Brentwood Academy. 4-star quarterback, highly recruited by the SEC and beyond, but chose to stay in state with the Vols.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
I mean, when you play games like this, you're expected to come out and win 65-17. You know what I mean? Or whatever, you name the score. And that's exactly what Tennessee did. When you see these games in the schedule, you're just praying that you're not the Michigan versus App State, right? When those games happen, and it's rare, but it does happen where FCS teams knock off, Power 4, or Group of 5 teams. It does happen. Wasn't going to happen today. Not against this group. I don't think many FCS teams would be too competitive against this Tennessee football team. They're just too talented.
3rd and 9 for McIntyre. Avoids a sack using his legs. McIntyre delivers a strike to Tommy Winton III and moves the chains on a 12-yard completion.
So, as we take a look at this throw, it's a nice throw on the outside. On the move, a little RPO. That's what they do in high school, and that's what they do in college now. All RPO.
Well, certainly having a mobile quarterback has been important for Josh Heupel since he's taken over now in his 5th season. Seeing the creativity of Joey Aguilar through the first 2 weeks of the season, and now his understudy, George McIntyre. Morris patiently probing the defense and picks up 7 or 8. McIntyre on play action. That pass is caught by Trey Weary. A walk on for the Volunteers, getting some run here in the fourth quarter. Pass is caught by Travis Smith Jr. and the chain.
Coaches notice that stuff. Trying to get some PT.
McIntyre buying time. Now dumps it back down underneath. And Travis Smith Jr. stepped out of bounds. Well, the ball's now squarely in the red zone where they are a perfect 14 for 14 this season. That's a stat they hope to continue next week against Georgia. Second and 3 goes to Morris. And he burrows ahead for a first down.
First down, ball.
Rarely from this Tennessee team do you see them staring to the sideline, having a chance to just chill and take a breath. Max Gilbert. Rather, Josh Turbyville on for the PAT to make it 72-17. And this is now the highest scoring game in Tennessee football history, breaking last year's record of 71 against Kent State. DeJuan Morris, another true freshman, scoring his first touchdown in a Tennessee uniform. All Vols in Neyland.
History, but Jawan says he still relives it every single day, and that he actually chucked the ball down the field. He was so hyped up. Josh made sure that that moment,
Especially after Georgia did score that late touchdown.
99.9% chance of Georgia winning at that point.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So you're saying there's a chance.
You caught it, thank you.
I'm always listening, partner.
Indeed you are.
Jackson Bird, the new quarterback in for ETSU. The Buccaneers will turn their attention to SoCon play next week. And Will Hill, he feels like though his team's very talented, has a chance. That's a league where every game's 50-50. He said we're about to start 10 weeks of it could go either way every single week because there's not much disparity from top to bottom. One could say, Dustin Fox, that the SEC is very similar, particularly at the top. I mean, how do you see that game next week, Georgia and Tennessee? I know it's early.
You know what's crazy? And this may surprise you, but you may already know this because you know every stat there is, that Tennessee was picked to finish 9th in the SEC. 9th.
How does one come up with that, given the fact that they went to the CFP last year?
That was my thought.
Right. So much of it now, though, is very arbitrary because of the transfer portal and players leaving, players coming. It's almost impossible to predict what's going to happen with any real accuracy.
Well, I always thought that like the preseason polls and what have you were always very difficult to come up with because you didn't know what the team was going to be like. Now you definitely don't know what these teams are going to be. You don't know who half these rosters are. You don't know how these teams are going to mesh together. I mean, people probably looked at Tennessee, Matt, to your point earlier in the ball game, like, oh, they lost all their receivers. Oh, they lost, two guys on the D-line to the draft. They lost XYZ, their quarterback transfer. Like, people probably thought that Tennessee was just going to be dog crap this year, and they certainly are far from that. I think they're gonna compete in the SEC and have a chance to get back to the college football playoff.
2-minute timeout upon us here at Neyland Stadium. We'll be right back to tie a bow on it after this. Up 48-7 at halftime, and they've handled business despite two backup freshman quarterbacks coming in and leading touchdown drives in the second half. And now they'll look to close it out with George McIntyre.
No, Mason Phillips now.
Right, but George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger both helping Tennessee score touchdown drives in the fourth.
Mason Phillips in the ball game now for the Volunteers.
Anytime you're able to get your fourth-string quarterback in by choice, always a good day.
Absolutely, partner.
Here's a run by Phillips, and that will move the chains and get some Tennessee fans on their feet here with a minute and change left in the fourth. Wild stat for you stat fans of Tennessee. This is now the 10th game under Josh Heupel with over 600 yards of total offense. The fourth game with at least 700. I mean, these are video game-like numbers that his offenses have put up over the last 4 years and change. Pretty remarkable. By the way,
pretty good.
This is now the fourth straight year doing it with a different starting quarterback. I think that makes it all the more impressive.
It is a wild stat, you know, when you think about it, that they've had a different quarterback every single year.
Courtesy of our man, Brett Bissell.
Baby wants some love.
And our wonderful spotter, Richard Gaynor, up here with us as well.
Brett Baby Bissell, we nicknamed in the booth. Official. Now it's official.
Final seconds ticking away at Neyland Stadium. Josh Heupel and his Tennessee Volunteers will move to 2-0 and look ahead to Georgia. The number 4 Bulldogs coming to town next week for a monster showdown in the SEC. College football playoff implications certainly in that game. Phillips will run out the clock.